Hello everybody, my name is Cassandra and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be making some fajitas with this flank steak that I had in my freezer. It's been in there for about a year. I got some frozen bell peppers. They're not slices, but it'll be fine. That's what I have. I have a little wrinkly onion that really needs used up. Gonna make some rice with some fire roasted tomatoes, and I have some of this Bush's Best Taco Fiesta black beans that I got with the Ibotta rebate. It was like 50 cents off, so it was only a little over $1, so this is actually pretty good. Some seasonings, but first things first, I'm going to get this chopped up in a bag and marinating so it tastes a little bit better, and then we'll get to everything else. But yeah, it's an easy meal. I don't have any flour tortillas, but I do have some corn tortillas, some of the little tiny ones, so it'll be fine. Not exactly what I like the most that way, but you do what you gotta do. So I'm gonna move some stuff around and get this sliced up. Okay, I'm not gonna do anything fancy with the seasonings. I did grab out my jarred garlic to toss in with it. And I have some olive oil I'll put in just to make sure everything coats nicely. I've made this before. You know what I'm doing. I usually just make it as a burrito bowl, but I feel like something a little different. Whoa, I'm gonna get blood everywhere. Look at that flank. Okay, as you know, you want to cut against the grain, but this is pretty big for me, so I'm gonna cut it in half first and then cut strips against the grain. I'm gonna get rid of this big piece of fat. I wonder if my knife is sharp. I may have to dig out my other knife. My fancy knife. It actually has sharpening power. Okay. Yeah, one sec. I'm going to get my other knife. Sharp knife. Well, it's sharp until I dull it and then have to figure out how to sharpen it myself, but it is much sharper than my other knives. I don't like long strips. If you do, you could leave it whole. But as you can see, that's the grain line, so I'm cutting it this way across it, so it's not tough when I get to that point. Make it as thin or as thick a slices as you want. I'm just going to make little strips. So I will catch you when I'm done with this, and we'll get it seasoned. Alright, we got my flank steak all sliced up. Gonna add in a big tablespoon of my garlic. Maybe a little bit more. I like garlic, and this doesn't have a very strong flavor. I got garlic, my oil. I'm just going to use a tiny bit of olive oil. Maybe like a tablespoon, teaspoon. Just to help it coat the seasoning, making a mess with it. That one's almost empty, so it's really messy. I'm going to put a little bit of white pepper. Not a whole lot, because, you know, white pepper is powder, so it flavors a lot better than other stuff. Got some chili powder. Probably going to be putting like a teaspoon to a tablespoon of everything in here. I can always season it again as it's cooking. I'd rather not over season stuff. And then we'll put some cumin. Some of this fancy cumin that someone mailed to me. I haven't really been cooking with as much cumin than I was last year, am I? Everyone's flavor changes as they get through the year, at least to me. And I get some salt. I'm just using my table salt. We are going to feel it. It's eating dinner. Get it all mixed up. I'm gonna put it in my fridge while I get everything else going. Next is going to be the rice, because that's going to take the longest to do. And then I'll do my onion and bell pepper and toss this in, and hopefully I'll get it all done around the same time. We got my rice rinsed out. I rinsed it like 3 times. It's usually good enough for me. And I'm going to be adding in my seasonings, which is a tablespoon of cumin-ish. I can put a little bit more because I'm going to be throwing in tomatoes and they'll suck up some flavor. Chili powder, about a tablespoon. Well, a little less. I don't want it too spicy. I'm going to add in some tomato bouillon just to help with the tomatoes, I don't know, anytime I add tomatoes or something to something, I always want more salt in it. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna add that in because I'm already adding tomatoes in. I'm gonna get it all mixed in. Smells good already. Just to make sure my rice doesn't get any clumps around the seasonings because it's wet. Okay. Oops, sorry. Throw in my can of fire roasted diced tomatoes. Hopefully I don't ruin it all by adding extra stuff. It shouldn't. I know it shouldn't, but my mind's always going, And then we have a cup of water, so we don't spill it. Because rice is a cup to cup, especially in the Instant Pot. So I'm gonna turn my Instant Pot on high for, I think, I'm gonna do 6 minutes just to make sure because it has all the extra stuff in it. And then I usually let mine natural release for quite a while. But I don't mind it being a little drier than it might be otherwise. So next is getting my onions and everything going. My onions are pretty well cooked. I did add some salt to them just because I have my can of beans over there. My rice just stopped and is now doing a natural release, so it seemed like a good time to toss my steak in here. So let's get that out. My steak. And once I get it mainly cooked, I'll taste one and see if I want to flavor it a little bit more. But, you know, I don't really use set measurements on a lot of my cooking. It's just how I am. So I'm going to do my best to get this flat and let it cook for a minute or so before I move it. And my goal is to get them all almost all the way cooked because I am going to be using this as my meal prep for the week, so I don't want it to be tough when I go to eat it later on. So right now, this is what we're working with. I'm going to let this cook for a little bit, move it around, and I'll catch you when my rice is ready to stir up. My meat is a couple minutes out. Decided to mix it in with my vegetables so the juices can all flavor everything. And I'm just waiting on my rice just to finish cooking a little bit, and I'll warm up some tortillas. And I'll eat. The only thing I'm missing is sour cream, basically, but I have yet to find a good dairy-free sour cream. But that's okay. It's not necessary, it just tastes good. Smells really good though, so that's all that matters. I think my rice is done. Let's see if I can hurt myself. Pin dropped, or at least what was left. There we go. Cool. That looks pretty good. A little more tomatoes than I would choose myself usually, but oh, yep. Didn't worry about making that too frickin' dry, huh? Smells really good. What do you think? My rice? Not gonna focus. There's focus. I may have put too much chili powder in it though, but I tend to do that to myself a lot. Oh, it's not bad. Okay, I'm gonna let this cool off a little bit. My meat's pretty much done and it'll be time to make a plate. Dinner is served. I think it looks pretty dang good. Sour cream, yes. Only thing that can make this better is sour cream. I do think I have a little bit more of my dairy-free Daya cheese. Let's check it. Oh, I do. My cheddar shreds. Not quite the same thing, but you know, you make do with what you got. Get a little bit of cheese on my rice and my fajitas. Anyone else like this? If you can't have dairy. If you can, I'd go with regular cheese, but you know, it's pretty good for what it is. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed my video. If you do, toss me a like and subscribe, and I will catch you next time. Later!